Hello. Today I wanted to talk about dealing with the death of a loved one. Um, and I wanted to first talk about death itself. And I know that this is a subject that many people just do not find any pleasure or anything discussing. Nevertheless, I feel it needs to be discussed. We need to understand, what death is and how the enemy can take, our situations and circumstances and use it against us to turn us away from the Father, who we should be drawn to even more so in this particular time, in our time of sorrow. So, and I meant to do this video a long time ago before the holidays, because the holidays is usually the time when everybody's really feeling the pain, of the loss of their loved ones. But anyway, death itself is something that we, even though it's hard, we as human beings, we kind of have to, accept. We kind of have to, grab hold of this, that this is something that each and every one of us will have to meet one day. And the same way that we are crying and mourning over our loved ones, remember that one day the roles are going to be reversed. Our family members are going to be crying and mourning over us as well. We all have to meet death. We all do. But I just want to say this in defense to my Father in heaven, is that He did not intend for any of this to be, death and sickness and stuff like this. He did not, this is not the life that God had envisioned for us. But because of our, disobedience, and because of our sin, listening to the devil, this is what we have to deal with. Now we have death and sickness and stuff like that, and all the sin and corruption is going on in the world. It was because of our disobedience. Never something that God ever intended for His children. Never. But thanks be to God, He did provide a way out of this life, out of this corrupted life. And that is through Jesus Christ, to whoever accepts Him. So anyway, I wanted to discuss the what God had kind of revealed to me as well concerning death, and which was death is more certain than life. Okay. Every baby that is conceived in the womb will not live, but everybody that is living is going to die. And so that is kind of how He made me realize that death is more certain than life. Death is a part of life, and we have to accept it. As painful and as hard as it may be, it is something that we have to understand, and we have to accept, and we have to be at peace with. And I also want to share how He helped me in my particular situation, because I just lost a loved one, my baby brother, back in August. And so I kind of want to discuss that without, going into a lot of details. But yeah, my baby brother was killed August the 21st. And needless to say, it was very, very devastating. I remember being in his room, and I was crying really, really hard. I was crying and praying to God, God, just please, just please bring him back. And I was crying so hard that I could no longer see straight. I just could. I was just hysterical and crying. And the next thing I know, I just happened to look out the window, and there was this cloud forming. And needless to say, it had my complete attention. So I'm just sitting here looking at this cloud just forming out of nowhere. I'm like, where is this cloud coming from? And, I'm just sitting there looking there. And then the next thing I know, I heard a voice speak to me. And he said, remember when you thought your brother was laying there by himself? He wasn't. I visited him. And after those words were spoken, it's as if someone just flipped the switch and turned off my crying, turned off, my tears and everything, and replaced it with this overwhelming amount of peace. For some reason, I just knew that my brother was okay. And that was my main concern for him, was that he wasn't ready to meet the Lord. That was my main concern. I'm like, God, he wasn't ready, But thanks be to God, that he is so mindful of each and every one of us. He knows our hearts. He knows our hearts. And, there's just, I think about the fact that there are so many people that are living in sin or living a lifestyle that they really don't want to live in, but they don't have any answers. They don't know a way out. Sorry, somebody's calling me. And, I guess that's why I'm just really upset with the state of the church right now, because there are so many people out here that are desperately seeking God, need answers. They're looking for a solution to their problems. They're looking for peace, and they're looking for joy, and they're looking all in the wrong places, in crack pipes and bottles and other people that mean them no good. And the church is not doing their job, and not telling them, hey, your answer is in Jesus. Your peace is in Jesus. Your happiness is in Jesus. No, instead, they're telling them, to look to material things, a new car, a new house. These are things that's going to make you happy, prosperity, wealth, and stuff like that. If that's the case, why are there so many rich people that's killing themselves? The joy and happiness is not found in material things. It's only found in the Lord, only the Lord. So, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I knew he wasn't ready, but, God knew his heart. He knew that he didn't want to, live such a lifestyle. And, this is kind of, some peace I'm trying to offer to someone, or some encouraging words, that you don't know what happened in those last moments when your loved one was, passing away. You don't know if God, came and visited them. We don't know any of that. Only God knows these things. And while we are sitting around upset with God, asking him why this and why that, we don't know. We don't know the answers. Only God knows. Only God knows his reason. And only God has his reasons for everything that he does. So, but we just have to trust him. Do not let the devil take this time in your life that you should be turning to God. Do not let him take this time to make you not have faith in God, to remove your faith for him, to remove your love for him and your trust for him. Because the devil is like this. He hates us. He hates us. And he takes any situation that he can, anything that he could use to destroy our relationship with the Father. So he looks for these types of things. He looks for us when we're at our most vulnerable state, when we're dealing with the death of a loved one and we have no answers. So then he comes up and say, hey, God did this to you. He took your loved one, and, he shouldn't have done that and stuff like that. These are the type of, seeds that he plants in our mind, like I said, to destroy our relationship with God, because he tried it with me. He tried it with me. And, but you know what? I drew closer to God. And that's what I come to tell somebody. Do not take this time to doubt God and to no longer have trust in God, but take this time to draw closer to him. And I guarantee you that some of those questions that you have in the back of your mind, he will begin to answer them. He really will. He will begin to reveal, things to you that you wonder, why, what happened, or, stuff like that. And if not, he will at least give you peace. He will give you peace about it. I see so many people that, take the death of a loved one so hard that, that now they just hate God. They've turned, I've known people to turn to atheists, That's all a part of the devil's plan. That's all a part of his scheme. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Like I said, understand, we're all going to have to meet death. So while you sitting here upset with God or listen to the poison that the devil is feeding you, remember someday you're going to be lying in the grave. We're all going to have to die. So, and this is something else that I wanted to share as well. He is so amazing. And that's like my favorite word to use for him, but he is so amazing. But I never forget my dad coming to me, and he said, Alicia, I had a son. I know I had a son, and I know I love him. He said, but for some reason, I feel like he never existed. And so I didn't understand it, and it made me angry. I was angry with my dad. I'm like, what does he mean? I didn't tell him, but I was just thinking, I talked to God about it. I'm like, what is he talking about? What does he mean that my brother never existed? What does that mean? And the next thing I know, I want to say about a week later, I start having the same feeling. It's like, of course, I know my brother existed. I know I had a brother, and I still love my brother. But God, he's amazing at what he does. He put this feeling of him not existing in my mind to help ease the pain. That's what it was done for. And so you just really can't explain how God does things. You just really can't. You just kind of have to kind of go through it, kind of experience it to kind of understand what I'm saying. Just like with my dad, I didn't understand what he was saying. I got angry until I actually experienced. And it was like, it was a completely, I don't know, a phenomenal thing. I can't explain it. But, I thought about that, how God did that. And I applied it to, us going to heaven, because I used to wonder all the time, when we get to heaven. Well, first of all, the Bible says that there'll be no more sorrow, no more tears and stuff. In heaven, I used to wonder, well, how's that going to be when we get to heaven? Those of us who make it, and we don't see our loved ones. I mean, wouldn't we be crying because we know where they are? And, now I'm not saying that God gave me this confirmation or said this is how, this is going to be in heaven. I just kind of put this together, how he did me with my brother. I just kind of figured when we get to heaven that we would probably recognize our loved ones that made it there. But the ones that didn't make it there, I'm just kind of figuring that maybe God is going to kind of erase their memory or make it seem like that, that they never existed in our lives or whatever, if that makes sense. The same way he did my brother. I don't know, he's amazing. And I just want to encourage somebody to not doubt God. Don't be angry with him. Understand that he never intended for this life for us. He never intended this life for us in the first place. He never intended this. He never intended his children to go through sorrow and death and pain and sickness. He never, ever intended this. So please don't let the devil take this time in your life and use it against you, to destroy your faith in God. This is the time that you should be drawn near to God and let God heal you. The Bible said that God draws near to the brokenhearted. So, but you have to draw near to him, in order to receive any of the blessings, receive any comfort from him. In order for you to feel it for yourself, you need to draw near to him. You have to trust him. He says that he bottles up our tears. That's just how precious we are to him. So if you only understood how precious you are to God and how much it hurts him to see you hurt. But as I said, this is a life that we pretty much chose through disobedience. So, but he provided a way. He provided a way of escape. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. And that is through our Lord Jesus Christ. But just trust God. Please don't turn away from God. Please don't let the devil plant these poisonous thoughts in your mind in order to tear your relationship between you and the Father. Please don't do that. Please don't let him do that. Because like I said, he has no mercy on us. He will take anything he can find to use against us, he will use it. In death, a time where we're very emotional and sad and, vulnerable, those are the main times that the devil will use to turn. Those are the main things that the devil will use against us. So just, be encouraged. And I know that there is no magical thing anybody can say to you. Nobody has the words to say to you for you to get over your hurt and over your pain. I'm just going to say that right now. So please don't look for anybody to say something to you that's going to help you. Don't look for people to have deep sympathy for you, the way that you want them to, because the truth of the matter is everything that you're looking for is all in God anyway. You're looking for a lot of things in people that people really can't offer you. Maybe sometimes you will find it, maybe sometimes you won't, but God is the great I am, and he will be whoever and whatever you need him to be. You need peace, he is peace. If you need joy again, he is joy. And that's what I want to share with somebody, that there is joy again, even in the midst of death of a loved one. So remember that. I love you and God bless you.